Hi, this is Amir. Let's do question number 6. Which of the following best characterizes how the other residents of the boarding house view Major Talbot? If you wanted to translate the sentence or the question in your own words, you certainly can. What do the other residents think of Major Talbot? So we read the question. Step 1 is reading the question, which we did, and we do not look at the answer choices. And the next step is to refer to the passage to find the answer. So in lines 37, let's read from there. But the major, with all his queer clothes, his immense area of plaited shirt bosom, and the little black string tie with the bows always slipping on one side, both was smiled at and liked in Mrs. Vardaman's select boarding house. So, wanted to box that. So that's the key right here. He was both smiled at and liked. So they liked him. They smiled at him. They liked him, the other residents of the boarding house. And then later on, he's talking about his talks. And then it says, but they were careful not to let him see their designs, for in spite of his 68 years, he could make the boldest of them uncomfortable under the steady regard of his piercing eyes. So over here kind of was intimidating. They were intimidated by him. So they liked him and they were intimidated by him. He made them uncomfortable. So now that we have the answer, or we've created our own answer, we will go to the answer choices. And this is the part where it's most important. We want to eliminate the wrong answer choices instead of trying to find the right answer choice. So let's focus all our attention on poking holes in the answer choices. So let's look at A. They dislike him. Already, they dislike him. That's gone because it never said they dislike him. They said they like him even though they were kind of intimidated by him. So already, even if part of the answer choice is wrong, the whole thing is wrong. So this part's wrong because they find both his attire and his mannerisms ridiculous. This is an interpretation trap. So it does talk about his clothes, but does it ever say that the residents found his clothes or his mannerisms ridiculous? We may interpret that like, oh gosh, the major's kind of wears some weird clothes, but it never actually says that, so A is wrong. B, they loathe him. Loathe, meaning hate. They hate him. Well, over here they said they like him, so this can't be right. Let's just read the rest. They loathe him for his menacing demeanor, but humor him by listening to his anecdotes. They do listen to his stories, but over here it says they loathe him, which is wrong, because here it says they like him. C, they cherish his friendship and admire his fashion sense. Again, nothing about admiring his fashion sense. Cherish his friendship also is a little bit too extreme. They just say they like him. It doesn't say they cherish his friendship, but even if we think this is right, admiring his fashion sense is clearly wrong because it never says, it talks about the general's fashion sense, but never says that the residents admire his fashion sense. So this is wrong. Well, that leaves us with D. So this has to be the answer. They like him overall, right? He was both smiled at and liked in Mrs. Vardaman's select boarding house, so that works. Even though they find him both amusing and slightly intimidating. Well, it says they would string him along, getting him started upon. So this is kind of like the amusing part, which I didn't really get to when we were answering it first. But if you look here, find him both amusing. So they liked him over here, even though they found him both amusing and slightly intimidating. Kind of made them uncomfortable. So the answer is D.